Okay, so welcome to this presentation titled Why I Can't Keep It Off, Putting the Pieces Together for Optimal Weight Loss. My name is Sherry Stoka, and I am owner and founder of Weight Loss MD. And we're going to really tonight dig into the more not necessarily complicated issues that relate to weight loss, but really diving deeper into why people, when they lose weight, they cannot keep it off. So just to touch on current strategies for weight loss. So we've all heard it, reduce your calories. You just need to exercise more. Maybe you need to reduce your carbohydrates. Eat smaller, more frequent meals, not larger meals. Eat more protein, eat less fat, eat more fat. So we have all tried it, and we know that, these strategies literally are short term. So this is what I'm really going to dig deeper in today, And I'm just going to look, okay, turn that down. So I thought it was really important to really dig into what the research shows, what the studies show as it relates to all of these different diets out there. And there has been a lot of research on particular diets, whether it's low carb, the ketogenic, low fat, vegetarian, Weight Watchers, paleo. And at the end of the day, which it also surprises me, but at the end of the day, they all basically work the same. And so people that go on these specific diets, they lose about the same amount of weight in the specified period of time. And what we know is that typically when people go on these plans, they are eating healthier and they're eating less. So they're creating calorie deficit. We know that a calorie deficit works short term. So with all of the research that we have out there, we really haven't figured out, is there the secret diet that works for everybody? And we know that it really doesn't, because everyone is so different and we are sophisticated human beings. And that's really what it comes down to. So I wanted to really dig a little deeper into what really happens when you lower your calories below what your body actually needs. So our body needs a certain amount of calories to function. You think about all of the different functions in our body, from the brain to our endocrine to our digestive system. I mean, there's so many systems in the body that require calories, requires energy. So when you don't supply enough calories for that to happen, eventually the body is going to respond to that. So at first, you're going to lose weight. That is just what happens when you restrict your calories. But then the body and the brain catches on and initiates a process to really protect you. And that's why we talk about all the time. The body is amazing. And we have to work with it rather than against it. So the first thing that your body is going to do when you restrict for too long is message to your thyroid to slow down your metabolism. Then if your body perceives that you don't start increasing your calories, it's going to produce certain hormones that signal hunger to get you to eat more. And if you still don't eat, it's going to drive certain cravings. So that is the first thing that will happen. The second thing is physiologic changes will happen to protect your set point. So we all have this set point, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about, because I think there is a lot of confusion as it relates to that. But if you extend a calorie restriction, again, like I said, your body's always going to try to protect your set point. So we call that, homeostasis. Your set point is basically your thermometer. So if you eat less one day or multiple days, your body's going to burn less. If you eat more, your body's going to burn more. So it does adjust to your own fluctuations. What's important, really, really important to understand, is that your set point is driven really by the amount of normal fat reserves you have. So this is going to be a very important piece to basically everything we do. But as I as I go more into detail in this presentation, it's so important to understand that we have different types of fat stores, and normal fat is really, again, what drives that set point. Number 3 is restricting calories doesn't access the abnormal fat. So before I just said that your set point is driven by normal fat, but now you have the people that have abnormal fat, the body actually just neglects that. So when you try to lose weight, it doesn't touch it. So again, we have normal fat reserves, we have structural fat, which is essential to life. And then we have, again, abnormal fat. You will hear me say abnormal, otherwise known as inflammatory, visceral fat. People are familiar with that term. That's abnormal fat. So again, understanding the different fat stores is crucial. And this just gives you a look at the different fat stores. So we have 3 main fat stores in our body. We have what's referred to as brown, the brown adipocytes, the white, and the beige. So the brown, as you can see here, so brown has a lot of mitochondria. Mitochondria increases thermogenesis. It's like the furnace of every cell. So it's always active. It's burning calories. So that type of fat is good fat. You're really not going to gain weight if you have a lot of brown fat. Then there's the white fat, which, as you can see here, these are mitochondria, doesn't have a lot of mitochondria. It's basically this energy storage fat cell. And then you have beige, which is kind of intermediate. So it has mitochondria, but also has energy storage capabilities. So again, the main goal when you're trying to lose weight, obviously, is to really target this white fat. So I wanted people to understand kind of what happens when you restrict calories for a period of time, because that's essentially what people do when they go on diets. They restrict calories for a period of time. And again, the body needs calories, the body needs energy, and it's going to do what it can to find it. So if you're not eating enough, the first thing the body's going to do is go to glucose. This is just, recent food, carbohydrates, sugars that you have consumed. You're going to have about 80 calories of reserves. This is this is general. So this is general based on a 155-pound person. So this can fluctuate. Then you have glycogen, which is, again, it's stores in your liver and your muscle. So this is also quicker energy. This will be the first to go after the glucose. And then if the calorie deficit is extended, the body has the option to go to protein, which is muscle and organ tissue, which is about 24,000 calories. And then you have your fat stores. This is the whole purpose of fat, to store calories when we don't have access to food. So again, like I said before, the problem is that now our body is not in balance, the body doesn't just go to all of the fat stores, because now it's compartmentalized. So this is really the key important factor in getting past that set point and resetting your system so that you can maintain weight loss long term. So it isn't just about the calories. It's makes me sad, because this is the mentality of the majority of people. Like, I have to just not eat a lot in order to be thin. And I, again, you can see from here, the body is way more sophisticated than calories in versus calories out. And I am a dietitian. I have had training in so many different areas. I have a board certification in integrative nutrition. I understand the body, and I still see out there that we're telling people to, if they just decrease their calories by 500 a day, they are going to lose 1 pound a week, because 35 calories equates to 1 pound in weight loss. And it's just nonsense. So we shall move on. So essentially, the first thing you need to do is figure out if you are out of balance. So many people are walking around with many different issues and imbalances in their body. And this is really what we're all about at Weight Loss MD. Let's understand what the root issues are so that everything else can flourish and can repair, and you will have more vitality long-term. So, if you're out, you're out of balance if you have any digestive issues, constipation, bloating, stomach cramps, reflux, it's a big one, heartburn, it's a big one. If you are overweight or obese, you have excess and abnormal fat stores. So your body is not recognizing all of the fat that you have. Are you tired all the time? Are you not sleeping? Do you have rashes, acne? Do you have skin conditions, food sensitivities, mood changes, autoimmune conditions, or sugar cravings? These are all signs that your body is out of balance. So we are all about treating the foundation for optimal wellness. When you rebalance the body, reset and rebalance, then again, weight loss can actually be easier and be sustainable. So our weight loss programs we strive to do that. We strive to improve the metabolism, decrease that visceral or inflammatory fat, abnormal, as I described it earlier. You must maintain your muscle mass during weight loss. I mean, that's one of the most important reasons why people end up gaining it so quickly, because if you don't know what you're losing, then if you've lost a lot of muscle, that weight is going to come on before you eat one thing and you've already started that gain back process. So it's so important to understand that. Decrease in inflammation in the body. Being overweight or obese is an inflammatory state. I mean, unfortunately, it just is. And I owning a weight loss business, I hate to use those words because I for some reason, I hate to put a title on people, but that's why I say in that state of obesity or overweight, I mean, it is an inflammatory state. So we strive to improve the hormone balance, increase the cellular energy, and of course, reduce the gut and digestive issues. Gut issues can be so much more than just what we perceive that to be with, the constipation and bloating and things like that. I mean, gut issues could be acne. So that's what's important to understand as well. So what we do at Weight Loss MD, outside of develop all of our weight loss programs that are very strategic, we do dig deeper because some patients that come to us have complexities to their health. And I wanted to just kind of go through some of the main testing that we do, because I think those of you who are listening to this, you may relate to what I'm talking about, and really understanding what's going on in your body really is going to give you the best long-term progress, basically. So we do a genetic testing, and I'm going to talk about that. Obviously, we do a number of different gut testing, food sensitivity, hormones, and environmental toxins. So I'm going to first talk about genetics. So we do have, and now, I mean, there's such sophisticated testing, and we use a specific test that really, I believe, is state of the art, because it's really focused on kind of the wellness aspect of health. So we're looking at your genes and how they affect your ability to detox, how you control inflammation, your oxidative stress, how you control hormones, insulin, glucose, your brain, your cardiovascular system. Maybe genetically you're just prone to have high blood pressure, so we need to support that. Our energy and metabolism, our genes dictate our appetite and satiety, how our body loses weight with exercise, and how we burn fat. I mean, there's so many things that we can learn through our genetics, and I'm going to talk about that in a little more detail, but I do think it's really important to understand a couple key concepts here. If you think about your grandparents or your great-grandparents, they had specific genes in that lifetime, in that environment. Now, us in the world that we live in now, those genes have not changed, because genes typically change. I think it's like they somewhat start to change every 400 years. it may be more than that. So essentially what I'm telling you is that the genes that we were born with, we were not prepared for this modern life. And so our body has always been designed to protect us from starvation. So we were designed to survive very long periods without food. We were absolutely not designed to eat food and snacks all day long. That is just literally not how the body was designed. So when we go on restricted calorie diets, the body thinks we're going into starvation mode. And when we go into starvation mode, 2-3 weeks later, it's going to respond the way that I talked about earlier. Metabolism is going to be affected, sugar cravings, hunger, all of those body processes continue to happen. So again, restrict food for a long period of time, the body is designed to store. So when you do eat, you will take those calories and it will go right into fat storage, because again, this is genetically evolutionary wise how we were designed. So I kind of talked about this. This is just an example of what the genetic test can show us. And I'm not going to go through this, but again, I talked a little bit about, your ability to handle oxidative stress, detoxification, what your propensity is to have mood and behavior issues or brain, issues later in life, how you manage cholesterol, your vascular health, blood clotting, your appetite. Are you a person that tends to have a lot of hunger? Because we all experience hunger differently, etc. And I'm actually going to just show you a couple things on, this is actually my test. And it was, I guess not really eye-opening to me because of owning the business. And I have been just doing a ton of tests over the years. And I've been through a number of different things that have really caused me to go down certain paths and learn so much more about how the human body works. But essentially, you can see in this is just a piece to the report. When you see something that says very high, it means you have basically a blockage in that category. And methylation is basically a biochemical process involved in repairing and producing, certain gene expression. So what that is telling me, and if you can even read this, is that I personally need a diet that is very high in B vitamins and supplements that include choline and folate, because my body does not produce and cannot produce certain chemical reactions without those nutrients. So this can be game changing for people. Inflammation. So I was medium, meaning, I have the propensity to have some inflammation, but if I eat a diet that is anti-inflammatory and I take certain nutrients that are control the inflammation, then I can prepare for that. Oxidative stress, again, cellular damage, aging. A lot of this on my test, I didn't want to see, but I have been, again, doing the healthy things for so long that I feel like I have combated some of the things. But what's interesting is, for example, detoxification. Mine was high, meaning I don't detoxify well. So anyone who knows me, if I go into a room that has a lot of fragrance or candles, I get sick immediately because my body cannot detoxify that. So people think I'm crazy, but it's literally, I am so in tune to how my body responds to certain environments because of the way that I detoxify. And so again, I support my detox systems. I take a liver support supplement. I support my kidneys and gallbladder. I have to for the rest of my life. It's not anything that is difficult. It's just now I know that that's what I need to do. And then, there's so much more to this test, but I just think just pointing out a couple things. So interestingly enough, I have always been, obviously I own the business, so I'm obsessed with health and nutrition and exercise and things like that. But I don't have a problem with my eating. There are times when I get hungry, but I usually have very controlled appetite. But interestingly, my genetics showed that I have a blockage in controlling my appetite, which is probably why I eat so many vegetables, because I don't feel satisfied very quickly. So I eat a lot of low calorie, high fiber, so I can feel that fullness. And so that was very interesting. What was, I guess, positive in my genetics was that this adipogenesis basically is your ability to store fat. And I have a pretty efficient way of releasing and burning fat stores. So that's a really good thing. And then just to quickly go through this, it also will show you, how your body responds to exercise. So I was medium, meaning like I shouldn't be exercising too much. And rest is super important for me. I was a professional athlete. So, I mean, I was probably 10, 15 pounds heavier when I was an athlete because that was too much stress on my body. And weight gain and weight loss resistance. So good for me that I have a pretty easy, based on my genetics, at losing weight. So you can see here that, knowing your genetics is so important, because you can align better with certain strategies. So I'm going to talk about the gut. The gut, most people understand is, well, I shouldn't say that, we're talking about it a lot. I still feel like when patients come in and, we're always having the conversation, but, there's not a lot of information out there. And I'm just going to, like, super high level, give you an idea of what is the gut and what has gone wrong, So essentially, our gut is the ecosystem that lives within us. I mean, it is all of these different organisms, from viruses to bacteria, fungus, yeast, etc. And it all exists. I mean, it's everywhere in our body, but the majority exist in our digestive tract. And so this is just, a snapshot of like how much of different organisms reside in certain areas of the digestive tract because of, acidity levels, alkalinity. So there's certain organisms that can live in the colon where the majority reside, whereas in the stomach, very minimal can live there because it's so acidic. So, your body is always trying to create this balance. And when you get insults all the time, every day, diet, were you a child that was C-section, or did you have regular delivery? Because that's where you're getting a lot of these healthy organisms. Where do you live? Your genetics, obviously. Do you exercise? Do you exercise too much? How much stress do you have? What medications are you on? Oh my gosh, like medications are literally destroying your gut. So there's so many things that affect the health of your gut, and your gut literally is the foundation to the human body. So again, like I talked about, what causes gut issues? Your genetics, a poor diet, lifestyle habits, and inflammation, certain medications, environment, mental health. And if you've had food poisoning, I mean, that could be like the grenade that disrupts everything. And literally some people don't even recover from that. So keep that in mind. If you are someone who's had a bout of food poisoning and you're like, oh man, ever since then, I haven't really felt normal. It's because that whole environment has been disrupted. So our particular test, we're looking at the ecosystem. We're looking at certain strains that are healthy. We're looking at certain strains that cause inflammation or disease. So you can see that, if it's going to be either elevated, it will be non-existent. So we're looking at many different things. What's also really cool about some of the tests that we do, the immune system and the immune cells sit in your gut. So that's why autoimmunity is rampant right now, because of gut issues. So this particular test can look at certain strains that are related to autoimmunity. So whether that is inflammatory bowel disease, thyroid, Hashimoto's, MS, there's so many autoimmune conditions now. And in the world that we live in, we believe that all conditions can be reversed. I mean, it's hard work, but medications are not the answer. I mean, sometimes they're needed to help, with the process. But again, this is all about digging deeper into what is causing the problem and fixing that, and then kind of everything responds from there. The MRT test, mediator release test, is a food sensitivity test. So food now causes inflammation, and food now causes an immune response. So we do a test, and you can see so many people focus on foods, but it could also be supplements. It could be medications that you're taking, because there's a list of ingredients in so many things that we're not looking on the label. We want to think that it's food, but sometimes it might be something else you're putting in your body. So what happens is, typically food is a problem. I mean, most people know that it's highly processed, it's GMO, it's not real whole foods anymore. So that's part of the problem. But the other part of the problem is that our gut is damaged. And when your gut is damaged and you're eating food, now you're getting a response. And just to give you a 101 on what that actually means, if you see this image here, so this is actually outside of the gut lining. So you can see all these little different strains of bacteria. This is a mucosal layer that protects. This is the epithelial lining that is in the gut and protects anything from getting into circulation. This is the bloodstream. This is the immune system here. So over time, with all of those insults, the epithelial lining, that right here is like super tightly close together, nothing's getting through. Over time, the mucosal layer breaks down and these cells break apart. So now things are getting into circulation, and the body responds in a very negative way. It doesn't know, it starts attacking it, basically. And that's this cascade of things that begin to happen. And food sensitivities are correlated with so many different inflammatory conditions, as you can see noted here. So our particular test looks at 180 different foods, chemicals, additives, flavor enhancers, beverages. So essentially, we want to see what we want. We basically put together a plan that includes the lowest reactive foods, because ultimately what we're trying to do is, calm the immune system, calm the inflammatory process, and allow the gut to start to heal, allow those cells to repair, because they can repair, but you have to allow it to. When you're eating nonstop, it's kind of like, I give the analogy all the time. I'm going to check the chat. Okay. I give the analogy all the time that if you broke your foot, you're not going to go running on it every day hoping it will heal. No, it's an injury. You have to rest it. You have to get off of it. And it's the same thing with the gut. Like, that's why fasting is so beneficial, because you're allowing rest. And then environmental toxin test. I mean, we literally can see anything that has built up in your body. I mean, because we're inundated with toxins every single day. If you smoke, if you live in a city or not, I mean, we're exposed. Drinking, pesticides, what are you putting on your grass? The list goes on and on. We are consuming it and breathing it every single day. So symptoms, toxicity, you can see here, but symptomatically it's pretty generalized. But what our test will look at is specific toxins that are elevated. And what we know now is specific toxins, depending on where they choose to reside in the body and accumulate in the body, that will be the organ that is affected. So whatever your body has the propensity to basically drive this buildup is essentially, what causes these debilitating conditions. So we'll look at heavy metals, mold is huge, chemicals, plastics, glyphosate, BPA, parabens. I'm going to end up doing a whole presentation on this, because this has been a game changer for a lot of people, including me. we don't really, I mean, I try to do all the right things, I even buy makeup that is natural and it doesn't have all the chemicals, but I still had super high parabens. I'm like, where am I getting that from? So again, it's like, until you can hone in on, oh, okay, maybe I need to kind of adjust that in my life, or, instead of drinking out of a plastic cup for coffee every morning, now I drink out of glass or, stainless steel, things like that are just, so powerful just to kind of eliminate the load in your body. Physical signs of these toxins are, this coloring, the discolored, well, I was getting ahead of myself. I was going to say the dark circles under the eyes, but discolored, cracked tongue. I mean, this is like, 101, go in the mirror, look at your tongue. If it's not the proper light pink and looks, healthy, it's like from Chinese medicine, it's the first sign of disease. Rashes that you get, itching, redness in the cheeks, and dark upper eyelids can be a sign of the toxins. And the last test that I'm going to talk about super briefly is our hormone testing. This is looking at all the different hormones. We love this test, the Dutch test, because it not only tells you where your hormones are at, but it tells you the pathways and the propensity to either, more of the detrimental result, meaning carcinogenic, cancer causing, versus, it's headed in the right direction. Yeah, it's a little off, but wouldn't be so concerned about this. So our take on, well, I should say mine, hormones are a result of imbalances in the body. So I'm not always starting with a hormone test by any stretch, because you have to, the hormones are driven by the health of the gut. So usually you're trying to fix the imbalances. And then, for some people, they want to do both, so you can attack both. But this is going to be a great way of people literally, if they know their hormones over time have just are so out of whack. So it's always that balancing act. And that's why I don't believe in targeting, going after one hormone. People are taking progesterone or estrogen for so long. It's like, you have to manage that, because if you're taking that, it's going to cause an imbalance somewhere else. So just some symptoms that could be related to hormone imbalance would be weight gain, insomnia, fatigue, mood swings, poor memory or brain fog. And just if you're 40 years or older, the hormones tend to kind of go all over the place. Okay, so in summary, looking into what is going on in your body is huge. I mean, it's so important, knowing your genetics, understanding what's going on in your gut, what is accumulated in your body, where do you live? There's like your environmental that we don't really think about. Do you need a major detox? Yes, everyone does. Know what foods are causing inflammation in your body and how are hormones affecting all of this. So to kind of bring this full circle, our signature weight loss programs are meant to heal the body. So if you do a genetic test and it shows that you have a challenge with mobilizing fat, inflammatory fat, we have designed programs that actually overcome these genetic predispositions. We target that abnormal inflammatory fat. Our programs reset your metabolism and reset your set point. We maintain muscle mass in a calorie deprived state, which is close to impossible. If people try to do this on their own, your body will not maintain muscle mass if you are not strategic. Our programs reset your hunger signaling, your hormones, and will detoxify and repair gut issues. Now, again, repair gut issues. So for some, it's a longer process, but 9.9 times out of 10, people feel so much better and feel like their gut has rebooted after one of these programs. So we have 3 different programs that I'm going to talk to you about. A promotion that we're running right now. We have 3 programs. One is HCA Lean, one is HCG, and one is HC2. So these are programs that The HCA lean includes 3 different supplements that do the following. So it's going to reset hunger. You can actually exercise a bit on this particular program, but they're all basically meant for quick weight loss and releasing fat stores. HCG, for those of you that are familiar with that, I mean, that's going to do a whole host of balancing in the body from your hypothalamus to the hormones. And again, targeting those abnormal fats. That's what it's notoriously known for. And then HC2 is our newest program that we launched about 6 months ago. Amazing results we're getting. This one actually with the quick weight loss also has a detox focus. So for people that have, say, elevated liver enzymes, let's say they've been told that the liver is a little sluggish or they need to detoxify, this is going to support the detox systems as well, which is, again, super important during quick weight loss. So if anyone on here doesn't know who we are, so I am Sherry, this is Erica, and we have a staff of people, but the 2 of us develop all of our programs. We opened in 2016. We have a team of dietitians, RNs, NPs, admin staff. We're the only medical weight loss. We're medical, so we do a lot of medical things, but we're very holistically driven. We believe in root cause is paramount to long-term weight loss. Like I said, we develop our programs. We're experts in weight loss. That's all we do every day, all day. We do our own studies and research along the way. So the promotions that we have going on right now is the 4-week program. So these are 100% online. You can be anywhere well, not in the world. I guess it could be in the world, but you could be in any state. So it's a plan that's going to provide you with daily meal plans, recipes, grocery lists. You're going to have an app that basically every day you're going to be supported through what you do. I'm going to be doing 2 live webinars during the program. And again, these are 4-week programs. So whatever one you choose, the cost is $337, which is a significant discount from our programs. And then if you did want to upgrade and you wanted more of that one-on-one support, then the price would be $437. So I'm going to be including a link if people want to sign up for that, but I'll just end it with really, what we want for everyone that we come in contact with, or anyone that comes in to our clinic, is we want people to understand the truth. We want people to love themselves and have self-respect, be an advocate, for yourself when you are going into the medical care system, and you're talking to your doctors. Be prepared and ask the questions, because again, they get maybe 10 minutes with you and you have to drive your health. Be the best version of you. And really ultimately what we want is we want people to be healthy long-term. So that is it. I am going to look in the chat box. Anyone that wants to ask any questions, you absolutely can do that.